Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here. All right. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July for those in the United States that are calling in. And we'll go through a couple questions. I had some time today to review the market and see where things are. I think right now the real nail biter going on is in crypto. A lot of emotion about is it going to break out or not. A lot of people, kind of sticking their reputation on one path versus the other. But as you know, on our channel, we keep an open mind that any path is possible. There's no certainty in the market. You'll never hear me say this will happen with 100% certainty, because that's foolish to say. There's always a case where there's an alternative case. It's just the probabilities are more likely given one scenario over another. There's never a certainty. So we'll start with crypto. As you can see, we have this set up at the moment. We're looking for a 3 swing move off this low to finish B before you can actually potentially have a massive rug pull in the market. That I think the bears in crypto are already they sense this is here, it's coming. A lot of different systems are coming together to say this is going to happen. We know this will probably happen, but the reason why we think 3 in Bitcoin and we don't think it to be is done, even though you still have 3, is in Ethereum. You don't have a complete structure off the low. You have a impulse off the low with a higher high. So we will gyrate in this middle area, but it's highly probable. And again, not 100% certain. Nothing's 100% certain, but it's highly probable we're going to get another wave higher to finish out this cycle. Even if this is going to take a nosedive later, it has to complete this sequence with this higher high right here. Okay, we trade on this clue constantly. This is what gave us Indo, right, when it was in the low $2, right? These are the clues we look for. Now, it's never the case where you make the higher high and typically you just go vertical. The market kind of plays around. So we could be stuck in this middle area for a little bit. We can even, as you can see, we're off on 3 waves. We could even come back down to 2,000 and just still be supported in B. But I don't think the crypto cycle can end until Ethereum has its final swing. And remember, Ethereum represents to me most of the altcoins, not all of them, but it's kind of like the it's the mother of all the altcoins. I consider it. So this is kind of your sign, like the altcoins to me are preventing the market from crashing. They're too oversold. There's not enough sellers in the altcoin space, and they need to trap more buyers, and that will naturally create the sellers we need to push it down. I think there's no coincidence why Tom Lee is pumping Ethereum and pumping that complex, because that will pump all the altcoins. That's going to really help support the market, and I do believe the altcoin market is too it needs a pump. And then when those buyers pump and it's trapped in the altcoins, then as they flee and panic or take their profit, those sellers emerge in Bitcoin, right, and take the money out of the system, and then it can go down. I think that's what's supporting. I think Bitcoin wants to go down, but I think the altcoins are too oversold to drop to allow that to happen. And we can click through all of these and you'll see the same thing. We need, like even in Solana, we have 5 up. We're going to need another swing higher before any more lows can be met, if it's going to come to lower lows, in my opinion. So that's why I think Bitcoin, and that's why I have this view that we probably will make another push higher before there's a possibility of this kind of rug pull coinciding probably with a big market sell-off. That's what I'm thinking right now, guys, if you look at the market, okay? So we never try to call the top, right? We always try to buy the dip in 3 waves, and we usually get rewarded for that. 1, 2, 3, and then we get a nice dip. And then here we had a flat buy, on 3, it coalesced in double box, big dip. And here we are right here And now it's like, where's the market going to go? And it's jammed up right on the trend line. So I think the market in the next, couple days, maybe even sooner, will make a decision. But even if it pulls back again, right? Even if this does a 3 and 3 and pulls back, it'll be supported back down in this area. Okay. We haven't taken out divergence on from this peak to this peak, which also indicates to me that perhaps it's not a corrective bounce. Also, the distance is kind of short. Typically, when you make this kind of corrective move, you usually get somewhat of like an equal leg here. If I can get this drawn out here like that. See, we're pretty short. So it's kind of would be an unusual like connector. Unusual for this type of move. The other thing on the 45-minute, if you look, that's a massive reset with hidden bullish divergence, right? If you look at where we ended up, that was where it's oversold as we were back here, but look how much higher the price is. So this panic dip, whatever, and there was FUD that like big whales were moving money or got their accounts hacked on, we saw. And I think, it's just, you can't believe all that stuff. I think that was met with buyers. So you can see that. So hidden, again, that's like a hidden divergence within the market. So it's just, I'd rather take the long side of this until we get that swing, and then we don't know for sure. We'll need to reassess the market at that point. But that's kind of where crypto is, and it actually is kind of aligning with the indices, with the indices of risk and divergence. Again, we still only have a 3-wave move off the low, but it's morphed into a different structure. If we go to the 4-hour, you can kind of take a look here. Right now, the best way to label it is, as you can see, we have a full cycle here. We have a 1, 2, 3 with the peak, right? And then we have bearish divergence and then a reset of this whole cycle, right? You see this whole cycle reset, and then we came up and we took the divergence out. So we have morphed into, so this is actually 5 off the low, small connector here, and we're now in the third wave of a C. So you could see it kind of morphed into a different shape, but it's still only 3 waves. And as you know, 3 waves can become a flat still and do, what I consider unthinkable, because most traders have said that this is not possible, but very possible. And the flat, if this will play out as a flat, the SPY will normally get rejected at 641, 643, now what's working against the flat is how the length of this A, if we match the C, would take us through the 618 over into 700 SPY. That would definitely negate the flat. That would put us 4 is finished. Which one is it? We don't know. 4 could be finished. If 4 is finished, again, if 4 is finished, and it very well could be, this would be 1, 2, and you could be short in a wave 3 of 3 in the final move of the blow off top that we talk about, and which could end somewhere around this area. And then that would also match up with the Bitcoin forecast with one final move higher, and then everything peaks at the same time. So I think what may be happening in the market is everyone's waiting for this 4 and 5 or a big 1 and 2, but the move actually already happened. The 1 and 2 is may have already happened, and people don't even realize it. That was the dip, and that was all the dip you got was right here. And now we're pushing higher in this C. So and you can see that with the divergence and acceleration, right? I'm not making this up, right? You're seeing it with your eyes. There's no bearish divergence here. Okay, so I don't, you may follow people saying all these divergences and stuff there, but look, look for your eyes right here. There's no divergence. You erase divergence. It's accelerating higher, guys. So I'm just telling you, like, not what we know the market's going to pull back. It should pull back at some point, even if 4 is in. And if when this 5 finishes, the pullback will be catastrophic for the market. So, but what I was thinking is we could still finish this kind of C leg, erase divergence, and then, finish at this 640 area. Maybe it's a little bit shorter, and then you could have the bigger pullback in 4, and then you could have 5 come later. That is still a possible structure, and then perhaps Bitcoin can finish its cycle here, well, that happens too. So that's where the market is at the moment, and that's why it's never smart to try to top tick a market, because as you can see, the dip came down in 3, and then that's all you had. And then it's accelerating higher as FOMO and greed take in here. And looking at this shorter time frame count, it looks like you have like a small some kind of wave 3 of 5, here in this leg, in this C leg here. So you have some kind of 3 of 5 you're in right now, something like this, and now you're in this 3 of 5 scenario, and still should get more upside, right? And then we could finish C very well, right? Very well could finish it, but then it also can continue to extend, or we could finish C, pull back in 3 waves and make a 4, right? This is the 4 and the 5 scenario, and then you can pull back deeper again like that, and then you get something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, or this 5 is finished because you've made 5 up and you've broken the high. But I don't think that's likely given the extensions needed in the semiconductors and other sectors. So this is also still possible as well. So there's so I think what you have to do, the best way to trade the market is buy pullbacks and 3 waves when they give you that opportunity, no matter the instrument, as long as it's bullish and trending higher like you're seeing across the market until the market reverses. And once it does, then you can look to short the bounces in 3 waves. I think trying to pick a top is kind of foolish and not the right strategy. And I think people that may have been trying to do that in this area or here or here or here or even here are just the market is running away because I think there's this FOMO, and there is a lot of people that missed the move from the indices that aren't invested at all in the market, and they're going to try to get back in probably at the end, and they're going to push it higher. I think that's what's going to happen, and it's not really bearish, it's really money on the sidelines flooding in to catch the chase, and that could push the market higher. But it doesn't matter because we just wait for 3 waves. Our channel, our members always watch a variety of instruments depending on what level you're subscribed to. And when we see the pullback in 3 waves, we go ahead and as long as the instrument's trending higher, we will give it a shot and buy it, no matter what the 4 or 5 the 4 or 3 letters say, we buy it. Okay, like one example was Reddit, and that's been a home run buy for us. And people were like, "Why were you buying that? You're bearish tech. You're so like, no, it just fit our criteria. I'm not bearish anything. I just buy whatever's trending higher, and we buy in 3 waves." The problem is this market has not given any pullback, as you can see, except for right around here, right? There's just a little pullback here. You could have maybe bought if you were close enough to the screen on this little 3 waves here. But other than that, this market, the indices have not given any opportunity, but there's been plenty of opportunity in other stocks and instruments throughout this period of time, especially in this period of time that we've taken advantage of. Unfortunately, the indices and most of the big cap tech, for most part, has not given any opportunity to join the market, and that is typical of a third wave trends. But eventually that will change, and then there'll be great opportunities once again, just like they were down in these areas here. The market will eventually top out, no matter what happens, whether we peak here or we make a 4 and a 5. Like, we're going to get opportunity will emerge in all these stocks again. It's just takes patience, and a lot of people don't have patience. So I think for the most part, you're going to see the market continuing to trend higher for a little bit longer, and then again you'll get a pullback of some kind to correct this cycle. And this could either be a 4 and a 5. It could be a dramatic drop in the flat, or it can make another like 1, 2, and just go even more parabolic and vertical. All right, so let's go to your super chats, guys. Thanks again for joining in. I'll go ahead and try to get through all of them like I normally do. All right, and let's start with Anonymous's Qubits. Qubits was working out really well for us. Again, took a lot of patience, and Qubits had the better structure, right, of the ones we were looking at. It had it was like a beautiful wedge look, right? And we were, as our elite members, we watched this for about a couple weeks develop. We knew that it would probably still bleed lower into the wedge, right? We kind of anticipated that situation, and then we had a beautiful three-wave setup, and now we're pumping out of it. So I'm looking for one more high. I'm looking for one more high, but in this market, as you know, calling a top is it's crazy, right? Because what if it just erases divergence? Well, if it does that, guess what? This becomes a 1-2, 1-2, and it goes even more parabolic. So you don't know, and unfortunately, I don't know. I just think that we should just be conservative, and so this cycle's over. We're in an uptrend now, and so it's in an uptrend. It looks like it's clearly momentum's accelerating as people realize they missed the move, and or they were short and now they're getting blown up. And now we have to wait and be patient and let this play out a little bit. Just looking at this count, it has some options in it, and it's the shorter time frames, so it's not as accurate. But I think I would just stay long from our level, right? This box was given, like I said, given to elite members. So you just put your stop here and you just let it run. And you don't know what the market decide for you, right? You should take some profit here, always on when you retrace the trend, because it can always go back down and do a double correction, right? And a double correction would look something like this, right? It would come back down again, come back down here, and come back down to $10, $9, where we could buy it again later. So you don't want to come out with nothing. So you got to take some profit. Put your stop here, and then you just let the market decide. Do you get a 5? Does it run higher? And then we go from there. But this is it. I mean, it was pretty much a slam dunk trade idea that worked out. I think this one was a pretty easy one. Even a chart pattern trader could have done this without any labeling, without any knowledge of what happened before it, any knowledge about what Qubits does. They could have just looked at this chart and realized, as soon as it broke out, you buy it, and that was the right call. And that's what they're doing now. And so you'll get this breakout. And that's where we are with it. I would expect a 5, and if it's a 5, it will create divergences at the top. Bearish, maybe could hit 21, 26, and then it'll have an epic rug pull, a collapse, a catastrophe, right? And that lines up with the market, right? The discussion we just had. Right, and this catastrophe would probably bring you all the way back down to maybe $10, possibly even lower. It could even come all the way back down to these areas here. This collection of support over a period of months. So again, my opinion is the easy money is over. It's just the last little bit you're getting. That's it. You're just trading kind of the last little bit. If it were to erase divergence, that just would be a surprise, and that's a great surprise to have, but I wouldn't plan on it. Okay, thanks again. Yeah, the weed sector's moving. Maybe we'll talk about that later if we got some time. All right, MOWI. All right, let's take a look at some of these like we normally do. Let's see what's going on here. So again, we kind of had this peak here. We're going down. We had this little reaction area, failed. So now we're in this kind of double correction in X. So it's in this middle area. We're still looking for one more swing down. But now that it made a higher high, you can expect like a little bit of a bounce here. Let's see if we can anticipate where the bounce could go in the middle area here. So the bounce can go a little bit higher. It could go up to 208.20 before a rejection again, somewhere in this area. And then it could continue its next leg lower here. So that's kind of what we're looking for now. something like this. Let me just take another look at it. You know, it has possibilities because of this setup that we could even still be in this X, right? It may not be trending. It could be in this sideways connector, but you see how we blew off that. So I don't like that, and then we crashed, and now we're back up. And let's go look at the weekly. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. It's possible that could be the low for the swing potentially, and we don't get one more push down. But what I would look for that would be 5 waves off of this low, and we only have 3 right now. So I would be I think you get more upside regardless, but I wouldn't be so quick to short this box just in case you make an impulse. And this has to be the low. I would just I think we have to be a little bit careful. But I think in this area, like if you can come back up here and kind of surge up here, take out all these divergences, take out all these peaks, come up, no divergence, and then it falls rapidly, right? It's the Y. If it can make a 4 and a 5 with bear, and then it's probably the low, and then you can buy the pullback back down. So it could be something like this would be something like the bullish case. You get a 4 and a 5, and then it makes a bigger pullback down, and then you can buy that, and then you have confirmation of the low. But if you get this 3 and it just drops, then you know it's done. So this is a middle area symbol that's going to probably have sideways consolidation for a little bit of time until it can figure out what it wants to do, and it's just going to take patience for a trader to just be patient with it. We're just going to have to be patient with it and see what happens. But that's what I'm thinking. Okay, all right. Now, RBP. All right. Let's see. I'm not familiar with that. AKRBP. All right, something new. And so if you look again, we can come up here and see the 3 of this wave and then the reset of that cycle. So this is like a 1-2. And then you have another wave there that end it. So here you have some kind of 1-2. We don't label that a 3 because these peaks didn't take this peak out. We should check the monthly, and it's the same thing. So I wouldn't label that a 3. I would label that as another 1-2 here, right? And now the market has options. It has options here to it looks like, let's take a look here. It appears like if you look at this is only 3 up, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it only looks like 3 up, and then you have almost like 5 down, or you have like 3 up that way. So it's in some kind of middle area connector. Let's take a look here and see how we erase divergence coming out here. You see, yeah, if I look at the weekly, the higher time frame always rules, and you do have bullish divergence there. So I think looking at this wave, I mean, it looks like it's only in 3, like 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You have an A, B, C, but with the bullish divergence, this is probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we probably would change the labeling a little bit to match the RSI. And then if we do that, then you come down in 3 here, 3, and then 3 down. a lot of divergence here. So it looks like you're going to probably do a flat on this wave, but you've already gone too deep for that. So maybe this is a tricky structure. It's a very tricky structure because of this little final push, and we broke the low, and we didn't erase divergence off of that low. Let's look at this wave up and see no divergence either. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I look at this very. It seems to me like it's gonna it's gonna have to do a flat, or this is part of the corrective structure too. So I think we'll just kind of label it this way. I think it's gonna go back down in something like this. Maybe it holds this low. If it doesn't hold this low, then it's going to be a very complex correct connector into, and then this is some kind of like 1 2 3, maybe like a W, and this is some kind of like A, B, C, and it's gonna be very erratic. Again, very sideways and go nowhere for a while. But I think you're gonna have to expect this push lower with the lower low. The only way to negate this is if this price can come back and take out 289.8, and then you just have to call the low here, no matter what the RSI says, and then you have 5 up, and then you would call this as a 1 2 1 2, and then 1 2, and you're coming out. So I think I would look for that. I would do nothing and be on the sidelines. If you came up and take this out, then that makes the labeling easy, because then it's a 1 2 1 2 out. If it doesn't and it just drops, well, now you know you have the flat, and it's going to have to stay above this low. And if it doesn't, then you're going to be in a bigger corrective structure that's likely to whipsaw back up and then come back down later. And we'd have to take another look at that on another live stream. But which would last, as you can see, probably the next couple years. Price would go nowhere. Okay, NO10Y. And we've looked at this before. Unfortunately, interest rates have been pretty erratic, not trending yet, but I believe they want to trend. Let's take a look at what we have going on here. So as you can see, you came down and took out these peaks, this cycle. So we're still in this 2. All right, I'm not sure why we had this box, but it looks like it's going to this box here, and yeah, it's making a flat, and it's doing something like this. So I must have drew the box at one point, to warn about, probably because it didn't come back to the 4, which it usually does. Typically, if a correction doesn't go deep enough, it usually is susceptible to the flat to come back to the market here, and that's what it looks like it's trying to do, right? And so we need like something like that. So that's probably what you're looking at for now, and you're correct in this whole thing. So yeah, it's likely to even come below this peak. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, so from a weekly standpoint, this is likely to come down to retest this lower area. Yeah, something like this is what I'm thinking, where you have 1 2 3 swings, like an A, B, C. Yeah, I may change the shorter time frame count just to tweak it a little bit. I think this will probably be a little more appropriate to tweak it a little bit, and just looking at the subdivisions. I think we had this like this, but I think it'd be more appropriate to label the subdivisions this way. And then this 5, and then this probably makes a little more sense. So something like that is what I'm thinking. We have to just kind of tweak it a little bit. I still see interest rates resolving higher though. I think though, now that you have this count in play, if you were to come back and overtake 4235, it's go time. I think you'll have a big melt up in rates very quickly. So this is probably the last gasp the bulls have here before something break, before you start to come out. And then yeah, once you come back out and take these out, it's too late. It's over. This pattern will complete and it'll be go time. Rates will probably spike very quickly to over 5%. Okay, and that could be happy talk or bad news. I don't know, it depends on your point of view, but I think a lot of people don't want to hear that. But that's unfortunately, these charts are telling you, if we can again go in a time machine in 5 years, rates are going to be way up here, guys. It's just I know it's sad to think about those thoughts, but that's what's going to. So prepare now. You should be preparing now for that future. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Let's look here. All right. Always like these kind of new ones that we usually haven't charted before. What's good is you're above the low. That's always good. And looking at this wave, you can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you pull. Looks like some kind of flat, right? Some kind of flat here, and some corrective structure. Right, it's probably something like this. But looking at it here, you have 5 down, so maybe we need to just kind of look at it just a little different. Something like that. A, B, C. Yeah, I think that's how we want to label it. Okay. And then you came down in 3. You've erased divergence. Huge reaction higher, but met with a lot of selling. So that's never a good sign. So we have to say we're going off of the low from here. Okay, so it's likely to try. It's going to try to hold these lows, but as you can see, it's pretty tough to chart something like this, given there's probably not a lot of price data, but you can get the idea. There's your 3, and there's your 5, and there's your third wave. So like it's probably got to stay above this level to have a bullish continuation, right? It's probably something, something like this. If I'm looking at it right, and now you have, or actually here. So I think you have to stay above this line here to have continuation. Now it seems like it's likely to have one more swing higher, but you can see this pattern here can also be corrective, and it could be very easily do this and be a connector, and then you get another rug pull. So I think the problem is when you look at this, it looks like 1, 2, and a big 3. So you would have liked the low, but the minute you went back and dipped below it, you set yourself up for something like this, and then you can go down and it makes another low later. So I would be careful in it because it could easily turn into like this WXY and go lower, and then you're in this A, B, and C. That's probably, if I was trading it, I'd be expecting that to happen, and then to negate that, we need to come back and take out this peak, and then this structures negate it, and then you could have a whole new bull market. But I'd be really, but you could see like the RSI on here, like if you look at the daily, look at that pump exceeding all these peaks, but the price barely went up. So somebody was like, I'm taking advantage of this pump to liquidate my bags. And now all that buying energy is gone. And the odds of reproducing that energy is probably slim again until you get a more of a capitulation, which this is what it was. So unfortunately, the market used this really as an opportunity to get out of the market. Whoever owns this coin or not, they dumped a lot of their bags. They use this as an opportunity to get out. And I'm not saying it can't do it, but it's more likely you'll get this drop. Okay, thanks for being an elite member. Hex. I thought Hex is gone. I thought they got rid of Hex or something. I don't know. I didn't know they're still... Is that still out there? Okay, let's look at it. Maybe it's still out there. I thought they got rid of it or something. Oh, here we are. All right. Well, it looks like it hit a box. We'll have to go back and kind of rewind what we were thinking with that box. Oh, yeah. So we must have looked at it off of that 3 waves here. So we're looking at a corrective move. So we never got the 5. It looks like we've got the 3. But you see do we have divergence? Yeah, we have a little bit. So we'll have to check our subdivisions, and maybe we're off by a swing somewhere in here, or it's a leaded diagonal, and I think we'll just go with the lead and diagonal view. So I would right there, we know it's a 1 and a 2. More than likely, it's some kind of a lead and diagonal coming out. It's got to be. It's got to be some kind of lead and diagonal, and something like this. And then we have the 3 waves, and so it hit the box, it reacted. So since we had the reaction, we're still in the corrective cycle though. If you can take a look, you see how you're still in the correction. So now that if it goes back in the box, it can go lower and still be, so it's a buy in this area. So even if it falls lower, it's still so it hasn't ended the correction yet, but it probably will soon. And it may have right here. We just don't know it yet. But I think it's likely you're going to get a bigger reaction out of this box that will end this cycle, and you can come back and get a relief rally, maybe back up to this 527, or you're lucky and you get the big breakout. And I think you could, it's potentially get the breakout. Now the bigger picture, right? We only have 3 here. So because of that situation, it could react and go lower, right? But let's look at the RSI again on the higher time frame and see the divergence there. The odds of it being corrective are low. So it's more likely it's going to come up here and not do that. So this is the setup, and there it is right there on the T. Okay, Dogecoin. Take a look at that. Let's see. We'll have to go to the one I have done. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. So this is a good example of a box that failed, right? That's never a good sign for a bullish instrument when you had 3 swings and the box failed. The box failed, and that's why I say no system's 100% perfect. But what that also tells me is you're in danger of breaking these lows then. There may not be a wave. There may not be a 3. And as you know, Elon Musk is the mouthpiece of this coin, and he's not the most popular person right now, right? He's not the most popular thing going on. Now he's trying to, like, I think, embed this crypto a little bit more in X, so I may benefit this. I look at this. The problem I've got just in general with this structure is you have 3 and 3, and then you came up and you made a lower low. You see that? That's very worrisome, and it's only in 3 waves. So again, I'm going to show you like what I'm seeing. And with a failed box, also makes me believe we are going to probably break these lows and put the bullish structure in jeopardy, only because we should have had some kind of reaction. And see, we're getting an impulse down from this peak. So that would set us up for an ABC move. So let's take a look. Again, I'll just label what I think I'm seeing. With the failed box, you got a fifth wave. So that means you're going to get a bounce, which you're getting now. This bounce could come back up pretty, so we should get a bounce here. This would be pretty shallow. It should go higher. But I bet you're going to get one more swing down to finish the structure. And where do we have to end this thing? So it's got to stay above that low right there. So it's got to stay above 8 cents when that happens. I think it can do that. So yeah, I bet something like this coming. Okay, I think this is too shallow. I think it could come back up. Usually it comes back up to the 4. I think it's going to come back up to the 4. See, the cycle's over, right? So this cycle's over. So it is in a mini uptrend. So I think I would be looking for something like this with a little bit more upside. Coincide with Bitcoin and crypto, I think, which is going higher. And then remember I said crypto's in danger of that big dramatic, bigger drop. That may be this bigger drop. It's forecasting. Anything else, let's just say hypothetically it comes back, we can make it a running flat off of this peak and put this as like a W, an X, and a Y, but I think it still fails eventually. I think this structure has to resolve itself. So I would expect more upside. I guess in the general, whether it goes higher as an X or it goes higher as a B, you have a higher high, just like rest of crypto. You see how you made a higher high here, higher. Here's your first corrective structure that finished. So it's probably something like this right now. You're probably in something like this. It's probably in something like this right now. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's what I'm thinking right now. And then see where it goes. It should finish something like this. Now, if it were to come back down again, you're probably still in B of some kind, just like we saw with Ethereum earlier. But that's what I'm seeing right now. And this is a good example of a box failing and an instrument turning bearish that didn't produce any bullish reaction. And why you should cut your losses, because sometimes you have to step out, right? Because we had a really good 3-wave setup that usually works. If it was bullet, it's not. It's obviously in a bearish trend at the moment, still within this bigger bearish trend. And it makes sense too, but it's the news, right? Like I said, Musk isn't the most popular person with a lot of people right now. Now, some people he's still really love him or whatever, great. But other people are not a fan of his right now, right? And isn't he saying bad things about the tax bill? So now again, here he is So I think he's I think this coin reflects the sentiment with himself and his companies as well. Whether it should or shouldn't, it just does. Because he's like the CEO of Dogecoin now. He's like a C. It's almost, I want to say it's like a CEO coin, but CEO coins, there's one guy that owns all the coins. And I don't know how the holdings are. I don't know how much he owns or what, but he's kind of like the CEO of Dogecoin, and his Yelp rating's pretty low right now. I would imagine across many stakeholders and then perhaps he can integrate this into X, and then that could really bring this to life more. But and he may have already done that. I'm not aware, but I think that's what this is saying to me. Okay, MBIS. Microvision. Yeah, we look at that quite often here. Let's take a look. Again, we're in a very erratic middle area. And I think we just said we accumulate here. If we look, we made a higher high. with divergence. That's okay, because that would be signaling of a B. Something like that. So we just got to move that out. And the reason I'm like that's okay is because within that B, you'd have something like this. And you usually need 5 waves off that, off this kind of look with a flat. So it'll be something like this. That's what I'm thinking. And then you have maybe 5. If it's 5, that's a good look, and then we're set up for this. If it's 3, it could still whipsaw around. This is something, you know, again, if I was in it, I wouldn't trade that. This is probably one of the worst areas to trade that I can think of I've seen because of the middle area. Now, if you have a position, I think you have to just hold through this noise and hold and stay above the low. The low, I think, bigger picture is probably off of, where are we at? I gotta look at the bigger picture again. So yeah, we're looking for we're in a bigger connector. So yeah, we're looking for, we need to stay above, you know, this 79 cent area. This is one of the hardest instruments to trade. I'm not sure, you know, to give you my honest opinion, I wouldn't recommend trading. There's probably so many other stocks that are much simpler to trade than this structure. But I don't know your personal situation with how your position. You may already just have shares there. Maybe hell, you may even work there for all I know, and you know, have an interest. But all I know is I think you're going to be very erratic price action. But I'm pretty confident it's going to resolve higher when this is finished, to finish a 5-wave swing, and then we can reassess whether we have X or there's a more and more upside. But I think this is going to resolve higher whenever this finishes. But I think you have to deal with this whipsaw back and forth, like I'm showing. All right. Next one, LPSN. Let's take a look. So I think we had this breaking out like we did. Let's just kind of see where we are with the wave count for now. We have to update the wave count. Hopefully, I'm sure you're probably the same one that's been asking me about this one. Hopefully this made you some money and I've helped you navigate this. Let's take a look at where we are on it. So we are in a 5, but we're in a, it looks like to me like a 3 of 5. So something like this. One more high, another drop, another high, something like this. That's what I'm thinking. All right, something like that. Again, it can erase divergence, and this could become it could just keep going vertical. So I mean, I'm assuming you probably own it from this area, and if you do, you just need to sit back and go fishing. There's nothing you need to do. Like, I think you just let this thing play out. And yes, there's going to be pullbacks and shakeouts, but if your position is strong enough, you don't need to really worry too much. I would have took some profit by now, but then I would be letting it run from here on out. I would just let it run and see where the market can take it, because again, we know things can go crazy, right? So I would not, again, try to top tick. I would not try to short it. It could be continuing to just extend higher and higher and higher and just continue from this low here. Okay, but that's a wave count. So if this is like following this wave count and we do top and we don't extend, this is kind of what I'm thinking you'll see, something like this, right? And then you'll correct this whole cycle, which would be a pretty big pullback again, right? Something take time, a lot of time. So you could see something like this, This is the most likely view, but you can't rule out the extension, right? Right, and then when this finishes, it just keeps going, okay? All right. 238 by Q2026 Q1. The way it's looking to me, we can look at, so if this turns into a wave 3, well, I mean, it is in a wave 3, we can look at the personality of other wave 3s and see what it did. So here's a wave 3, right? Here's one we had here. It went from like, what, 53 cents to $1. So it pretty much tripled in like 12 months. It tripled in 12 months. Okay, let's look even or is it? It's always been in a downtrend, so we really don't get any other good view. So it can triple. So basically, the rule of thumb is it can triple in 12-month period of time in a wave 3. So you have May 25. So 66 cents triples to about maybe a little under $2 by May 26. I think that would be, you know. So you're asking for like 238. It could hit the $2 by May. You know, if it has the same personality as the prior wave 3, it could hit that by May next year. But since it's a higher degree wave 3, it probably go a little faster and go a little further, a little higher. So tough to say. It's tough to say. Like I said, and that wave 3 would be the wave 3 coming out of this correct. Like again, if we follow this out logically, that you get this, then the real easy money comes next. Comes from this. This is the move you really want, right? This would become a 1, 2, and then you get the 3 from this point. This may be end of August, right? And that would be a $3 by the end of the end of 26. So I don't know. I think to play it safe, I would expect if you're in a bullish sequence, I would expect by the end of 26 to be in your price range. I think that's a safe assumption based on the chart, and then you can kind of decide what you want to do. But timing is really tough because there's no good techniques out there for predicting time other than using some ideas like I'm saying, and then there probably are other tools that I'm just not aware of. But see, the thing is, a wave 3 goes parabolic. Like this is a linear progression, but once you get into a real wave 3, it'll parabolic, which will speed up the price appreciation rapidly. So, all right, good luck on that one. All right, let's see here. EONR. All right, let's take a look. I think we've seen this one before on our channel. Yeah, some kind of resource play here. Let's take a look at what happened. So we're looks like we're still in X, right? But we're looking for this correction to end, and we want one more wave higher. Clearly it ended, right? It's over. So so the best way to think about this is it's only down in 3. So this is a very important pivot to hold, or there is no more Y. It's gonna the price will collapse. So you got to hold this 33 cents. It looks like it's trying to form an impulse off of this low, to me. So my guess is telling me you're okay, and it's starting to form the turn here, but it's probably coming to some kind of end of a cycle. It's going to pull back, right? Maybe back down to here, and then hopefully continue higher. So I'd be looking for that dip buy down in this 36 cent area, and then hopefully you get a reaction out, and then you can start thinking, okay, now it looks like we're going to get that second swing in something like this, and that's what I'd be looking for. So it does look like this 3 waves is over, and that's good, because it can turn into a lot of things. It can turn into this even now because it broke the low. I think that's what we'll go with. So as long as we're above this level, I would look for this to continue higher, and then and until the market says otherwise. Now, if you break this low, then it's it ruins the bullish look, and then you have essentially you're gonna, the price will you know, it will, if think about this as like flip this, if you were to flip this around 180 degrees and broke out, you would have, you know, you would see this as almost like kind of like it's not really a cup and handle per se, but it's kind of like, you know, so this would be it's a bearish continuation. It would be a continuation pattern breaking down. So it tried here and it failed, right? And this is the whipsaw effect that we're getting, right? The whipsaw effect. Let's look at the bigger picture. So the bigger picture, as you can see, you've got some kind of 3 there and a 4, and then you made the 5th wave out. You know, see all that bullish divergence? It seems like it wants to play out again. And you have it even on the monthly. So you have 5 waves down, right? You have from this, from whatever that is. So it's 5 waves down. So that's your 3, that's your 4, $6, or let's say around $4. So if when it corrects, and it may, and again, it could have started to do that here, which I think it has, and it's going to correct. And this C has potential to really push higher. But you shouldn't think about what I can make. Think about what you can lose. But I'm just saying it could go back to that wave 4 peak, because you're correcting the whole cycle off of this this move. And the reason, if you were to break down below it, then the correction was just this, which is nothing, which essentially this will go out of, either we'll just trade and the company's gone, close shop, or it will reverse split itself to death. But I think this is what I would expect right now. Okay. UVIX, yeah, UVIX has got again, the way we I mentioned to buy UVIX is never bottom pick it. You have to wait for the reaction and buy the pullback. That's the only way I think you can trade that today. Reverse split this thing or something. Wonder why I lost my UVIX chart. Huh. No, they didn't. Yeah, I guess I lost my chart. Oh well. All right. Well, anyway, we can take. It's probably good to take a fresh look at it anyway. Here. What's the weekly? You know, you could look at, you're making lower lows. That, I mean, that's the biggest bullish divergence you can see. I mean, it's massive. So we know the market has got a volatility, like explosion, like we've never seen coming. Just not yet. The shorter cycle, you have this. That was the massive August issue. Then you came down, made another peak here. So again, looks like some kind of 3 swing move down. So I think what we'll do is we'll label it from that cycle, right? We have to label it in 3 waves, some kind of 3-wave increment. Like that. And then you made a you obviously made some kind of connector off of this swing here, right? You're probably in a Y. That's what I think that's what we were looking at. Or we're still in X, and we don't know. But let's just keep looking at it here. And then this turned into let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at the weekly. You came back up. Yeah, maybe we're looking at this a little bit not the right way. Maybe instead of labeling it this way, we label it impulsive, and that's a 3, 4, and this is all just a 5, and then this was a 3 swing move off the impulse down. So it's some kind of A, B, and now we're in C. off of that low. Let's go to a lower time frame. Let's take a look here. Again, this is kind of a fresh look. That would be a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be your 1, 2 right there. I'm just kind of trying to see another way of looking at this. And then 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably moving in end in diagonal in a 3, 3, 3, 3. And then you're up in B. You came down, and now you're in. Now you need 5 waves down. But from this peak, right? If that's the full cycle. So now you need to try to count 5 waves off of this low. There's your 3. This looks like it corrected most of that wave. Let's go to the daily and see 3, 4. I want to say this is a 5. Yeah, I think I'm going to still say that's a part of it. Let's just kind of label it and see, and I'll have to take another look in a minute. This is why I don't trade the UVIX. This is why it's just better to wait for the reaction higher and then try to guess the count. But it is kind of fun trying to play around and see if you can kind of get it. Something like that. See, that makes more sense. And then you have another 1, 2 down. And it's going to erase divergence. That's what it's about to do. So again, I think volatility this is going to go lower, which makes sense if the market's still got going to push higher now as it's extending. And looking at this, that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd have to do it that way. Make that a 1 and 2. And then another 1 and 2. So I think that's where it's going. So that's why I wouldn't buy it. And if you're relying, if anyone out there is relying on the bullish divergence on the shorter time frames, it's likely to get erased. It's likely to be erased, which is what you want to see, so you can see the 3 swings, and then call it a day. Now, the higher time frames is a whole nother animal, right? Because more than likely you'll still keep the bullish divergence. It's the shorter time frame. You want to see it erased because we're charting from this peak here. So I think that's what I would look for. And then more importantly, I would just wait for, or you do this and then, or you just wait for the confirmation of the cycle to reverse, right? And you'll see that on heavy volume and breaking the pivot, probably breaking above 32. Or we can just keep watching it. See, even here, erase divergence almost barely. So this I think is the right count. Also, you broke this structure, and that's going to have to play out now to the downside. It seems like to me. And then when it does, when it's all said and done, then I think you're ready to. Then I think UVIX will have a massive move higher again. And this ended up just being a connector. That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, that's what I think of UVIX. I'm not personally wanting to trade it right now. All right, BBAI. All right. Looks like a 5. That candle looks like it could be the end of that. We have the divergence. Let's look at the shorter time frame. Yeah, looks like it's pretty much at the end here, depending on how you want to draw your cycles. But we know the market can extend, so I would never tell anyone to go short it. So It can easily extend. It could be that, but it also, just again looking at it, it can even do something like that. I think this is the right count when I'm showing here like this. And what we've done is we said, okay, we have this big bullish move off of this low. Now, it could erase divergence and turn into 3 waves, but it hasn't obviously done that. So the reason we're showing that is we're keeping an open mind that it could extend and break this level at $10. And then on our channel, right, we saw the higher high, right? Here it is. Just like we see in Ethereum, right? Higher high. It's the same idea, right? And then, oh, there's this pullback, and it's like here, oh, and then we drop, and I said, okay, we're going to go higher, and we did. And then we had the 3rd wave, and then we pulled back, and then once the market made that 5th wave, then it's like, okay, now we have to take the bearish view out of our mind. We're saying it's the low, and we'll just label it bullish until otherwise. And that's where I would go. Now after 5, if it's 5 like this, it will pull back, and then you'll have another opportunity to go long at some point, and then you can buy it again for more upside. So that's what I'd be looking for, something like that, and just let the cycle play out, and that's where it is, all right? All right, so we got this one extending on us, MBIS. Definitely looks like this little dip is resetting the cycle, but as you know, the dips can be really shallow, but it seems like a little too shallow. It looks like 5 down. It would be nice to get a double, and then you could have a buy opportunity here, right around this 44, 42 level. For the next leg higher. It may not do that. We have to wait. You know, it just depends. I still expect more continuation. So this peak. So we will. Just to be conservative, we'll label this a 3, and make that a 4. Although you know what, I don't like too much overlap. So we won't do that. We'll label it as another 1-2. Another 1-2 for now. So that's what I think. That's what we're gonna see. Something like this. Yeah, I'm just looking if there's a more bullish setup. Yeah, you know, there is a possibility, and I don't want this is why I wouldn't be like, okay, I'm just going to sell everything I own and buy it. No, because it could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then it may not dip. So it could actually have this really so again, this is a more conservative view, but there's a more aggressive view I could have if I was biased as more of a perma bull on this chart, but I feel like this is probably what you're going to get with this one. Okay, PLD, Prologics. Let's see here what we got. Nice little parabolic move. Never taken this peak out, so it's probably some kind of 1-2, 1-2. On the grand super cycle, right? Now, again, if I was conservative, you put 3 there, okay? So I think no matter whether it's a 3 or not, it should make another high here. I don't think it's a 3. Now, the way we bottomed, very erratic, and then you see how you made that lower low right there. So it's likely to have a little more downside coming. So you made 3 waves down for some kind of W here. 1, 2, X, and now is that Y? Is it finished? So you're still in the corrective cycle. So if you can break out of the corrective cycle, you're finished. But if you see all those bullish divergences, typically those get erased. And it doesn't look like it's gone deep enough yet, given the lower low. So I would be looking for a little more downside down to this area. If I was trading it, I would be waiting for this target to be reached right here. And I would just have to be patient. But how it gets there can be very erratic. I'd rather buy it down here. And then buy it as, and that would probably be too deep for a 4, so it'd be like a 1, 2, 1, 2. It doesn't mean it's just going to go straight down there, though. Okay, because we do have 3 here. This could be still an X. It could do a whipsaw back and then fail later. It could be ready here. It could be doing this W, get X, and just do that. A lot of possibilities, but it's again the middle area, and I wouldn't like to trade it. PALAF. All right, so this one looks like it worked out for somebody. Maybe you. I'm sure not a lot of people buy this, but we had to buy here, and really nice reaction. Again, it looks like it's energy. Again, everybody wants Tesla, but no, energy is what you mean. Energy is where you really want to be, guys. And other miners, metals, resources. That's the trade. Those are the trades. I think that 3 is probably finishing up here. Could have finished, still in it. Let's look at the shorter time frame. Yeah, you see a bearish divert finish. That's what I thought. So more than likely that 3's either that 3's done and you've already got 4's there. That's 4, or you're in 4. So I would be looking. But see, I don't like how that overlaps there. So let's look at the subdivisions a little bit differently. Let's just take a step back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, 5, something like that. So it does subdivide properly. It could double back to like this, but you want to see this 5. So a lot of energy shows 3. But so technically, if we don't get the 5, it could come back and break these lows. But if you can get the 5, this is the most conservative view, right? You get the 5, and then you get a much bigger pullback. Usually the first wave off of a major low, usually the pullback is very deep and very long and protracted. That's why I always say, if you want instant gratification, and you won't get it following me, because 1, I don't make the market, I can't give you that, and 2, typically our lows are major lows, and V bottoms are rare off of a major grand super cycle low like this is. So it's likely to, again, take a while. It's likely to do like a 1, a 2, right? And then make another 1 and 2. And then people were like, oh, this sucks. And they're gone. And then it makes its 3 and you missed a move. That's what these tend to do. And this is that accumulation period. So just, you have to prepare for that, right? You have to prepare for that, right? So we don't know. Of course, we want it to just go like that, but you don't know. So you have to decide, and you have to, like, what's my time frame? Is this investment? Is this, I want, immediate gratification? Typically, you won't get that like from a grand super cycle wave 2 like this is, because it has to build a bottom. typically the immediate gratifications are like stocks that have already made like 3 1-2s. You're buying like a 2 of something that's already made 1-2 1-2. So those are better. That's like what the miners are in right now, guys. That's like silver miner. You know, those are, that's why, and it is producing some nice, you know, pops because of where it is in the cycle. But 2 years ago, the miners were buys, but they didn't really go anywhere, and then they retraced a lot of their moves, and they kind of were like, why am I in these, right? Well, you're in these for this moment now, but that's what energy may be like. So just manage your expectations in energy. If you're looking for immediate gratification in energy, you may be very disappointed. But if you're looking at it from an investment and like, I want to put some long-term money to use, then you may be very happy with that investment where you're at right now. Okay, next is HII. Hunted in interesting. Okay, I never heard of them. Let's take a look at where these guys are. Looks like it's got a nice simple. So again, peak RSI way early in the cycle. Likely not in a wave 3. And then we need to look at what this is. Now see how we peaked at the peak. Never good, and then we came down in 5. This could be a run-in flat. Let's look. Yeah, you see how we reset this whole thing with this low here. Let's look at the monthly. Now the monthly did not do that. I would have liked to seen the RSI completely reset there. So there is a risk. So I'm going to show you kind of a couple possible counts. 2 could be in a run-in flat here, like this. A, B, C, and it's go time, right? It's go time. And then of course you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's that count, but it also could go lower and surprise you, right? It could be like a 1, 2, and then do like a United Healthcare, right? A United Healthcare. This is the United Healthcare HIMSS setup, right? And then you get like blown up 40% in one day. So I would wait. If I did not have a position, I would make the market come back and take this peak out to help avoid. Again, nothing's impossible. It can always, anything can happen in the market. I still believe that. You can wake up one day, it could be a complete fraud, and the CEO is corrupt, and the whole thing goes to zero like on any stock. It can happen. Like, it's not impossible. It's not a 0% chance of that. That can happen. But what I'm saying is, if it can break that high, the odds of this happening, I think, are significantly lower. But until then, just look at what happened to United Healthcare. It's the same. This is the same setup that happened to United Healthcare before you woke up one day and lost 40% or whatever. What I mean, so it can easily do that. So I would just be careful, and either one is equally likely at this point. Looking at the wave though, maybe you can lean bullish because it looks like it. Well, no, you're racing divergence here. So yeah, I think it's a very dangerous chart to be long at the moment, only because it could do this kind of flat, and then really bring people to their knees. But with the higher high and the 1 2 1 2, great things are going to happen in the future if this chart, if so. This is the worst case scenario, I think, right here. This is the worst case scenario that I can see. So but you could call it a run-in flat. You could. I think you just have to. I think you're just gonna have to like wait, either be patient and wait for the confirmation, or if you have a position in here, just maybe have your stop at 157. It's tough to say how to trade it, but I think this is what I would be looking for. Something like this is what I'm thinking. All right, good luck. All right, SHLD, a defense ETF. All right. Damn, parabolic. Wow, look at that. I haven't seen ETF. Usually ETFs don't move like this, but let's see here. Again, your peak RSI is way early in the cycle. Here now on the higher time frame, you're starting to take that out. So I would always wait to the higher time frame, and the reason is it's probably just not enough data. It's probably to do the analyze it. So we're gonna just we'll call it a wave. We're in a wave 3 right now, right? We're in some kind of wave 3 off the low, right? And you really haven't got the wave 4. It almost looks like the stock market, right? We haven't got a wave 4 yet. No wave 4. The market just is super greedy and FOMO and just going crazy high. Yeah, something like that. So I'm gonna label it this way, but hey, this market just loves to continue to extend, so I wouldn't try to top ticket. I would buy this in 3 waves if the market gives it to you in 3-wave dips. So maybe this 4, you can try to buy that if it comes in 3 waves. See, you had 3 waves here, so that was a dip buy right there. That was a dip buy right there at 58. That may get you up to 61. So again, it's kind of something like this. Right, it could do something like this. Like this is the classic top-in pattern, right? Right, something like that, and then a big pullback. So that's the classic view. Of course, it could keep accelerating like it did up here, right? You know, and it did down here, right? This 1, 2, right? A lot of Elliott wave people, right, would have said, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm going to short this right there. Look at that 5. Oh, crap. Oh, no. What did I do? Right? So this could be the same phenomenon. Like, we don't want to do the same thing here. Because it could just keep going. It doesn't have to stop, just like it did up here. Right? So I'm showing you it's like a 5, but it could just keep going. So the better way to play this is to buy it in 3 waves when it pulls back. And you get pullback. It's very bullish though. All right. Indo. So Indo is tied to the oil market, and the oil market is got a lot of people that chased it with the Iran news, but it did and this cycle did end. Okay, so this cycle's over. We are looking 5 off the low, so that should produce another leg higher in the future. And right now we only have 3 up. As you can see, we have 3 up. I labeled it as a 1, 2, 1, 2, but it's a 3, right? So it's just a connector wave, right? It could be a connector wave off of this first leg down. This first leg down does look like an impulse to me, but it's too how can I say it? It's too small. It doesn't have a lot of trade volume. It's liquid. It's a liquid kind of. It's not, but there you see, it looks like a 5. If it's a 5, this is going to go one more. It's going to have another swing lower at some point. But it does seem like that's too shallow of a bounce, right? So if it's a 5, you get something like this and comes down. Something like that. If it's not a 5, and it very well could be, I could try this, right? And the divergence we're seeing is this because this C is so big, we're seeing the divergence in this leg, not this cycle, and then the correction's over. Here, it's already done. So we did see the cycle end. We do make 3 waves up. Now we need the market to kind of figure out. It's too early to tell. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes another low and shakes people out again, although I wouldn't be surprised either if it fills the gap and then makes another low. But I think bigger picture should be it should make another swing higher and C. I think I was looking at this the other day too on its previous pumps. Like, what did it do? And it reminded me of this pump here. You see how this pump went from 2, right where we are now, all the way up to 10, and then look, it collapsed. Look, it's almost like we're in now, right? See how it collapsed to $3? It's almost the same thing, right? It just, and then And then this was like February. So then about a month later, a month after that, it went like freaking insane. It went all the way up. Yes, I think it went all the way up to like $80, $86. So, I mean, could you imagine if it goes up to 86? Like it's so the personality of this thing is like crazy. It like has crazy swings. So 30 days from June 30th, July 30th. So maybe by August this thing will be ready to go. I don't know. I don't know, but it's very same personality. A big pump from about the twos, here about $8, big crash to 3, and sea leg. We can dream and and have all these happy thoughts, and I can give you guys all these happy thoughts here. It's just going to go to 80 again, or even I'll break it because it's a bigger wave 3, and we'll go all the way up to 120. That's why I have my box here. 100. We'll go to 120. Look at that. Wouldn't that be something? I'll have probably 200 followers tomorrow. But I don't know. I think it's just like it's going to go with the crude cycle, and the crude cycle I think is kind of in a very tricky spot because I think it's got more upside, and then there's still this unresolved swing lower that may or may not happen depending on the strength of the next move it makes. Okay, if crude oil here wants to, and it looks like that's a 5 here. If crude oil wants to make this move, I think we get one more high. If we make this move lower, I don't see how Indo can run. But if the major low is in, if this major low is in crude off of this swing, then we will see crude hit these levels here in our oh crap target here, which I've had on this channel for years since this started to correct. I said, okay, there's our there. Then Indo's probably is I bet Indo's to the moon here. So just think about it. I don't know. I wish we had a crystal ball, but it does look like I think in the shorter time frames, energy is trying to like come out of this. What'll be interesting is if Indo makes another low, that may mean energy makes a double correction, another shakeout, right? Down. Because again, it needs to stay above 55, and there's still a lot of space. So this could still do 1, 2, 3, maybe make 3 up, or make a bigger 3, and then make another. So very, very, you just have to play the setup when we get there. And I think with Indo, what we told our elite members was we pretty much saw the day after the cycle ended, and it was like, okay, the cycle ended. So that'd probably be the right point to start to buy it when the cycle ended, and it was, because it started to go up after that, and that was right around when crude started to go back up. But the shorter time frames have a lot of options still. And so I do think there's a possibility of the gap filling down, or a more upside. Maybe we didn't even fill the gap and come down. But if you look at the personality back here in 2022, it didn't do that. It kind of just consolidated, if I remember right. Go back. Where were we here? Trying to find out where. We'll go back to where we were here. There we go. If we look here, right, it kind of crashed back down, and it didn't really, once it made that low, once the cycle ended, it never came back below that. So, and it kind of just consolidated. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, if you're looking for immediate gratification, you won't find it, potentially. That's how the market works, but you never know. I was honestly surprised how much upside we got out of it when we saw this breakout. But hey, it's good. It's good that it happened, because you just never know. And I'm sure the people that bought it back in 22 had no clue it was going to go from $3 to $80 either. How many people were able to hold through that and take it, get out at the right point? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think it's going to go, it's got to swing higher. It's missing a swing higher. All right, next is BYDDY. let's take a look here. It looks like we have it in a 5 here, but let's take another look. See, that doesn't look like a complete structure to me, so I wonder if we're still in we're in something else here. So we have the peak RSI in 3 here. We're starting to make bearish divergence. We correct in this cycle. So this cycle, so we're probably off. We're probably off by a swing. More than likely the 3 is here and we're in 4. We're probably just off by a swing in our subdivisions, is what I'm thinking. So we just have to yeah, go back and just let's just take a look at our subdivisions again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, yeah, something like that. So I think we're just off in our subdivision a little bit, but so that could get you back down to this area. China was a little weak. We saw Alibaba break down a little bit, but I do think it's still supported. I don't think it's like, oh my God, it's going to crash. I think it's just, I think it's just correcting a little deeper than maybe we thought it would. So here's so you actually have a buy setup here at 88.77, 83.73. So there's a long opportunity in this box. So maybe a little bit lower, and then I think you could see a reaction or the next leg higher start from there for this final 5, or it can erase divergence and keep going. I think this one's a pretty straightforward trade. I think it's a straightforward trade with a pretty clear box to me. All right, next is this Hex coin again. I think we already did that one. It looked like a pretty good buy opportunity. Not that I'm recommending it or anything, because I definitely these altcoins, I don't like some of these obscure ones. I always want to be a little cautious on. All right, so we have to go from this low, right? So this is obvious. This is different than the one we looked at, I think, but maybe it's not. So you have an impulse off the low. We have an impulse. With a massive extended 5th wave that obviously, again, usually you lose the whole 5, and you did, and then you hit the sweet spot between the 4 and the 2 exactly, and you're coming out of that. So it's very technical and based on how I usually see these charts. And just missed the buy point right there, just missed it. So as long as we're above this low right there, you can hope to get more upside or see another swing higher. So now you're in this next cycle off that low, and again bearish divergence there. Something like that, and now more than likely you have to hold that low right there. Yeah, right there. So the chart it's kind of like crypto is at a really pivotal point. Most of the altcoins are in these kind of setup. It's like you're right at the end. It's do or die. Either you're going to get a big breakdown or a big breakout. But I would always lean a little more bullish. Almost looks like that's 5 off the low with that higher high right there. Even for an illiquid instrument. And again, I don't know how, but right, and you almost took this high out here, did you? Almost. So I would be looking for that, and as long as you're above this low, I would just look for upside to come out, which would mean this would be an incredible moment to buy it, but I can't recommend it because again I don't know anything about this coin and how it trades and what it represents. But the chart shows a good bullish setup, but that setup can easily can break down. So do what's best for you guys on it. So there you go. Good luck on that. Good luck on that. All right, MLGO. Micro algo. I think that's another popular one that I get asked a lot. Again, looks like we hit the low exactly. Look at that. So, oh, we missed it by half a penny. Looks like it looks like 100th of a penny. So I mean, damn, but we were close. So it's over. So there you go. So now you're in a new uptrend, and I think the question is now, how high can it go from here? I think you just continue to buy it in 3 waves until the market fails. Okay, so you're not going to look to short it. You're going to look to see how it went in 3 waves. Okay, big reaction. So now we'll look for another area. If it may not do this, but it could take another dip back down. So I'll draw another box in this area just in case. But basically, as long as you're above this high, that's what you want to see. And right now, it's only moving in 3s, so it's still jammed up in the middle area. But I would label it this way if I was labeling it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it's moving in like 3 swing increments on the first wave up, and then a nasty like pullback, probably back down to where this box is coincidentally, and then go time. That's what you're hoping for. Now the other possibility is it just goes like that, and there is no pullback. That was your pullback. That would be moving more in 3 waves. That would be more corrective, and that would indicate to me that the move higher is temporary, has one more push, and then that's it, and then it's a whole new bear market again. So I think you should look for something like this, but you're in the middle area, right? You have 3, 3, 3, and I guess as long as you're above 63.34, you could play the wave 5 or extension. All right, but there you go. I mean, I think, I'm not sure who it was, but people keep asking me this almost every live stream, and hopefully it paid off here. Okay. All right, BCHG, we're seeing that cycle come to an end as well. BCHG came to an end and going higher, but most people are not paying attention to it. Had an intraday buy box here at 363. It could still get filled there, but as you can see, we've pushed off the low very quietly. No one's paying attention, but you obviously are now, and anyone watching me is. So I'm looking for something like this. And this matches BCHG's count that I have as well. All right, that one's easy. Good luck. And we had the buy box down here. The count was off a little bit but we had the box. The level was sound. We had a good level, and it did turn, and it ended the corrective cycle all the way back from this peak. And so we're in a new uptrend. So this is very important low to hold. 210 has to hold. And guys, if you follow me long enough, we had to buy here a long time ago in August 23. And I think a lot of people that follow me made a ton of money on this thing. It went up to these areas. So could that happen again? I don't know. I think it could, though. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it has to start somewhere, just like this one did, right? It had to start somewhere, right? We had to start somewhere, right? Just like we did now, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's doing the 1, 2. You start somewhere. So we have to start somewhere, but this is a higher degree, so it may take more time than the last move did. All right, FFAI. I'm not sure what that one is. I don't think I've ever charted that one. Faraday futures. Yeah, the green tech starting to get bids coming to life. I'm seeing a lot of cycles end. And if we look, we're seeing 3 waves and coming up. So we're looking like we're probably going to do a whipsaw off of this peak. We're looking for a whipsaw. And I'm not sure if I had mentioned that when we discussed it, but you see we have 3, so we're looking for a whipsaw. And that's fine. And that looks like you have 3 up here. We're probably going to take that peak out. So we want to start labeling it as an impulse. You start labeling this as an impulse, and then a pullback, and you want to buy it. If we can get this 2, that 2 would be a great buy for a pump. a great buy if it happens. It may not happen because you're playing the whipsaw, and the whipsaw would take you back up to this $5 area, and then it will probably fail again. But that's what it's doing. It's doing like a connector, like a whipsaw play. So that's kind of what we're seeing. All right. HUN. HUN here. Huntsman. It held the low, but barely. But let's take a look at the bigger picture. 1, 2, 3. So I like the divergence. I see 3 waves down. That's probably the 4. We hit the 4. So I think it looks okay to me. I think it looks okay to me. Let's see here. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, or 3. We'll do something like that. Yeah, and 3 is not the shortest there, so we'll have to be something like this, and then so that's a flat, and that looks like actually 5 down. No, erase divergence. No divergence. Big. So I'm thinking you're in a flat off of this peak, and if that's the case, I don't see a 4 yet and a 5, but and it probably could go a little deeper off this peak. But with the higher high, I mean the structure is bullish. See how the 4, so it could go a little lower. I think it's gonna go a little lower. I don't think the flat is finished because you don't have a 4 and a 5. The flat has to have an impulse. You have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 1, 2, right? 3, 4, 5. So you have 3. You need 4 and a 5. So you need something like a 4, like that, like a big like reaction, and then it should fail again, and then create a lot of bullish divergence. But it's probably close to making the 4. It's probably close. So that's what I'd be looking for. And then you can come out of this. The alternative is if it breaks this trend line. I'm gonna draw a trend line. If that 4 reacts too hot, too strong, and it breaks the trend line, well then the correction's done. And then the 4 is just somewhere in this wave. We just don't see it, which can happen, and that's it. So I'm looking for this, or something like that, and then more upside in the future, of course, for the years to come. So I think it's close, but probably not quite finished yet. Bongo, crypto coin. Looks like we have that here. Looks like we got that 2 here. We came out, we made a higher high. We have 3 down. We have 5 up, it looks like. Let's go to the 45-minute. Yeah, see the bullish divergence. So you have 5 up. So looking good. Just again, just gonna have to be patient, I think. That looks like 3, but yeah, I would. So again, it's like the rest of crypto. Could this turn into a flat and still be in 2, or is it in a 1, 2, 1, 2, like ready to explode higher? It could easily be this, right, and then go down. So like. But see, too many overlapping waves. So I think I'm just going to label it what I see for now. And then you can decide how you want to trade it. It looks like as long as it's above this 11,312, the more bullish outcome can be expected. If we break that low, then I would be looking for 3. Then I start to worry that it's in some kind of flat correction. And it's going to retest these lows, which have to hold. Now, if we break those lows, it's not the end of the world. It just means they're going to be in a bigger connector potentially. It could even do an A, B, C, and come back down later. It's just going to change the whole nature of the structure. So, but I'll go with this for now until the market pushes us down. Now, if it breaks, then yeah, then I would be looking for the flat. And if this breaks, then we would then I think the bullish view could be in jeopardy. We could still be in 2. This could be a connector. It could just come back down and potentially even retest this area. But what I'm thinking is with this 5 up, whatever happens here should resolve higher, one more swing. Okay? But I can't, nothing's guaranteed, but it seems likely to do that. Tesla is one we've been following. We did get an intraday trade opportunity. I gave our pro members this traders box. A little too risky for this like one of our strongly recommended trades, which we do have down here. But I give this box to our members if they want to take it, because it did produce a beautiful reaction, which almost looks like 5 waves. And let's look at the short. We have to go to a shorter. So it does look like 5 waves. So I think it has options here. I think as you can see, we have this. I don't know why the one needs to be there. So the one is you have 3 waves down. So this could be a 1-2, right? I can label it this way, something like this. Again, this doesn't make sense to me because it's only in 3, but I can force it, right? I can force it. We also erase divergence. So it doesn't really fit my system, but it could be a 1-2, 1-2. I mean, it could be, and I could, or I could put the 1 here and maybe force a flat. But again, so it doesn't fit. So what I'm thinking, again, what I'm thinking with Tesla, again, this is what I'm thinking here, is it's a bigger correction, and we come down to our box. The box here that I've given all our members, and then this is just like a connector to get to this box. It does that. So that's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think. And then this, if it's 5, we'll do like something like this. Right, I'll do something like that. So just that's what I'm thinking. But this is producer reaction. I mean, I could try to force the label to make this a 1-2, 1-2 setup, but I think that would be too permeable. That would be a permeable count, and I never try to give unbiased counts. Tesla, we've always traded really well on our channel, right? Short here, buy there, short there. Didn't really do much in this area. We did get the pullback. And here is an opportunity. Here's another opportunity. And then here, of course, we had the buy here, a buy here, a buy here, a buy here. So we've really traded Tesla. We have a good track record on our channel of trading Tesla. We even had I don't have a box here, but we called for those, and maybe you guys were around when the short there, which to me was a slam dunk, like no risk trade, because we were like right up at the pivot. I'm like, hey, just open it to short. What the hell? It's like basically a risk-free chance, and that worked out. So we've called it pretty well, and again, we try to stay out of this middle area, and we will play this reaction here. Now, if this deeper pullback doesn't hold, and we break this low, well, then this triple is not a triple. We'll put the bottom here. We'd have to call that an A, B, C, a big connector. And if we break that low, we have another box, and that is $90. And that's got to be like a market meltdown, right? That would have to be market meltdown. But I can't say it can't happen. But I think this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. So we'll see, and then you can try to play the wave 3. I call it the easy money, from kind of a nice ride straight up to 700 or wherever. Which we had this target the day I started my channel, because Tesla, everyone was interested. I said, well, one day we'll be back up here, and I think we will be. We almost thought that was it, but then the market told us no, not yet. And then I think people thought this was it, and now it's getting pushed back again. And I think there's a lot of negative sentiment going on with Tesla, with Musk, and his, what he's doing with the American parties and all that. And I think but that will go away. That'll go away. That's just emotion driving the market trading. I think if he can pull out the robotics he's looking to do and the robo taxis, this stock will be okay. I think it'll be okay. That's my opinion. So he's going to have to step up. And every time people thought he couldn't make it, he always pulls it out, right? Because I remember trading Tesla back in this area, right? Wasn't these the good old days? Oh, yeah, and we traded, right? Oh, he'll never make the Model X or whatever it was, the Model Y. Oh, that just shit will never happen. It happened. I mean, again, people doubted all his deliveries back in the same thing. Oh, he'll never do the robotaxi. But he always seems to pull it out. So, but even back here was pretty erratic trading, like, and then they break out. So it's kind of the same situation. We're in this erratic trading, but it'll break out. But we never chase Tesla. We just buy it in 3 waves, right? 3 waves. That's what we do in our channel. We buy it in 3 waves and we play the ride. I mean, we don't chase it. We don't go, oh my God, let's buy it right here. It's gone. No, we wait and we buy it. And again, this was an aggressive box, right? That people could have bought, that I presented, and depending on let's say you bought, next day calls here, you probably tripled your money overnight. I mean, depending on if you do that type of trading. Right, because it literally hit the low and instantly went higher. And again, now we're expecting it should do like this zigzag, right? It should do like something like this. So that's what I'm thinking. But good luck. That's my view on Tesla. And again, we cover that in our pro group. All right, BitF. BitF is another one of these crypto plays. What do we have here? I take a look. It looks like we got some kind of reaction here, but sometimes when our box gets penetrated and we bleed out, then usually that means the reaction fails, right? That's what we usually see if the box ever gets penetrated like that, and so more than likely that too should be almost finished or finishing up in a double correction. Let's get rid of that. I don't know. All right, so. Let's just check it out real quick. Yeah, see, the correction's over, right? Correction's over. Just end it. The weekly cycle just broke out, right? Just broke out. So we have a good pivot. So anything above 66 cents is a good opportunity to take a position if you're trying to play this chart out. We may even just kind of relabel this a little bit. Just I think maybe that's where we got something like that, and then that's the 3-wave move. Maybe that was a chart. Yeah, see, that's probably what it was. So we just didn't have that swing just quite right there, which can happen. So probably something like this. That's probably the right count. This is probably it. Just kind of taking another look at it. The subdivision would probably be a little bit better that way. So yeah, so there you go. So do with it what's best for you. I think as long as you hold that low, hopefully you can break out of this thing. All right. Good luck on that. And then Nvidia. Nvidia. All right. Nvidia is. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of what I want to say about Nvidia. Okay, big picture on Nvidia's got a couple possibilities. All right. So first, our channel did call the top here at this 150, and we also called the extension back when I think people were calling the top here. We had the 3-wave buy here. Now, where are we? Okay, so the problem here that I have with it is a couple things. It's only 3 waves, I believe. Let me see what we've got here. Yeah, we've erased divergence. So we only have 3 waves. Okay, we only have 3 waves, and we know that means the flat can be in play, and that is something we know, but we can't like bet on that, right? So here's some so the connectors right there, right? So you have your 5-wave move right there. So that's the only cut. Like, that's how crazy this is, honestly. Like, A, B, C, right? So your B wave dip was like nothing, right? Nothing. But now you're in C, right? And it should be coming to an end soon, right? There you go. And then within C, maybe one more high, right? If this is the count. So that's what we're looking at. And can even go higher than that. So more up. So I would say more upsides coming to finish this 3-wave move. Then, like the market, it's got a big decision to make. It's going to have to decide if it wants to extend or do a flat and then extend later. Right? It's got to make a 4. Right? It's got to make, because this is the 2. Right? If you so one. A couple things here. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But that 3 is not a healthy looking 3, but it could do that. It could technically do that. Make a 4. Make a 4. Make a 5, right? And then have a bigger pullback, like another pullback. Oops, I don't know what's going on here. All right, there we go. And make another pullback. And then 3 of 3, right? And then it comes out. So it can easily do that. The other possibility is, like I said, the flat, and it comes back and it hits our $70 target. That's probably the market breaking the April lows in a flat, and then 2 is done, and this 2 is like a grand super cycle 2, like it goes all the way back, I think. To the 2002 time frame. So it's like it's in other words, it's correct in a major cycle. So this is actually pretty short to have the 2 done, and it almost lends itself to having another type of catastrophe in this higher degree correction. So that's why I'm not too like, oh my God, I missed a move, I feel so bad, I'm not long Nvidia. No, because I still think there's something doesn't smell right with the semis, but the future, I think, is good in this 3. But I just worry that the market has a nasty surprise for us soon, and they can do this. So technically, this can happen. So I don't know. I think you'll have to decide how you want to play it based on what I just said, and it's really tough. I mean, it's a really tough chart. Again, it could make the 4 and the 5. It could just keep extending and going more vertical, right? And then the 2's in, right? And then you just finish up the 3, 4, 5, and you hit this higher target, and the next cycle ends there. A lot of options. It's uncommon to have, again, V bottoms off of a major correction, because this is the grand supercycle correction without any pullback. Like, it's just not typically what you see unless we're still in the correction. We don't know it yet, and people haven't realized it. And kind of what we're doing here allows the divergence to erase, which is what you usually see before a flat happens, right there on that peak. But it probably's got a little more upside to clear out all the divergences. Like, I think the 45 minutes still has some divergence here, so I think you still have more upside. So I guess the shortest possible time frame, I think it's going to go higher still, a little bit more, and then we'll wait and see where it goes. Do we get does this happen in the summer, like while we're in the summer, but that happen in the next couple months, or do we get the 4 and the 5 and the pullback, a consolidation in this area, and then we get a big push? It's tough to say, right? It's tough to say at this point, but we'll play it by ear. I think like Tesla, if you get the 3-wave pullback, It could turn into the flat. It could turn into the 4. I think it's worth to buy it, no matter what, and let the market. I think it's worth the REIT, because if it's a 4, or it could be something else. You don't want it, you can miss the upside. So I think if you get a 3-wave move on it, you should try to dip buy it. But as you can see, the 3-wave moves are hard to come by. You got sort of got one here. You got more like, probably put that one there. Probably be better to put that there. Put that A there. See, we barely got any dips in this thing at this area, right? So if you look at it from this point of view, from the 45-minute, this would look like an impulse from this low, and this is an extended 5th wave from this peak. But on the 4-hour, I'm sorry, on the, I think it was the daily, doesn't show that. See, the divergence erased. The higher time frame always rules if you have discrepancy in the data like that. So I always go with the higher time frame count. The shorter time frame hasn't caught up, but I believe it will soon with more upside. But if you go away, if the shorter time frame was, if we went by that, we would call this 3, 4, and a big 5th wave, right? Which would mean it would take it all the way back down to 127, 130. But I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the right way to label it right now. Okay. VRAR. Let's take a look at that. It looks like we've looked at that one before. We have a box down here. Looks like we used that as our connector. But we could be ending the cycle. You see how we ended the cycle and we erased the divergence? So more than likely it's truncated. That B is truncated. And it's starting its next leg higher already. It looks like this cycle's over. So my guess is it's already ended. So I wouldn't be too bearish. Now this could be a 3, 4, 5, and you get a small pullback, which would be probably a gift to get back in on the trade. But it's probably likely to just move higher from here and just come out. So to me, it just truncated, which means it's usually when I see that, that means there's a very big bullish move about to happen. And the 45, yeah, I think that's good. I think it's on the next cycle higher. Okay, that one's not too hard. Palantir, yeah, Palantir is obviously correcting a bigger cycle, but the question is again, how deep, what kind of dip are you gonna get? Right, elite members, we were just counting the waves, and I was like, I remember at 5, and I'm like, well, there's no more wave. There's nothing more to count. So I was like, I guess that's it. And then sure enough, it just essentially collapsed after that. Once in a while, we get the wave counts to match up like perfect. And that was an example where one did. It looks like it's extended lower, but we have a 5 here. So it looks like we have 5 down and a connector. So to me, it looks like just a classic ABC correction trying to take shape here. One more. The next, if we can get another leg down, I'd like to buy that dip, no matter where we are in it, because people are so much in love with this stock, and it's like panic bought, and they parade the guy, that CEO, on TV constantly. So it's going to be easy trade. This is easy scalp trading. Like, this is simple, and depending on where you draw this line, it could be like a back test. So that's what I'm looking for. The question is, what degree correction? Would it be just correcting 5? Is it a bigger correction? Let's take a look. So as you can see, this is a minor correction in 5. So this is just so far. This so far would be just an extension in 5. So if this happens to work out like this, this would just be like a 1, 2, and 5 would extend like that. So I think we go with this for now. But we don't have confirmation like the major grand super cycle is over, because as you can see, that may have already happened. I'm calling that a 4 for now, but I believe that if we pull back deeper and we break that pivot, then the grand super cycle is done, and we're likely to come back and retest the $60 area. So I think if this box can't produce a reaction and we break through it, then more than likely the next stop is down here, and then the whole thing is over. Then that's the count. So that's why I think this box is the opportunity to play for the extension, and then if that opportunity fails, well then more than likely you're in a major top here, and we should lose the whole fifth and come up here for the next cycle higher. So that's the way I would look at it right now. Okay. So good luck on that. All right. Another quantum computing. What's going on with this? We haven't had. So we had looks like we had a box here that played out really well for traders, and then we came up. Again, we'll check everything out here. It looks like it's going to extend higher, which it could do. Yeah, you see how you corrected the cycle there? Once we break this peak, it opens up an extension. It opens up an extension. I think it's going to do that. Right, and I think we have to put the 2 there. We have to just force the count. Let's see, we have a no divergence on there. I wonder why. I'm not sure why I was thinking a flat there, but we had the right level. Just but yeah, that 2's done. That 2's done here. So we obviously knew a lot of upside was coming. So yeah, this is going higher for sure. So I think if it could if it does want to do a flat back down here, you could just use that as another opportunity to buy it. But there you go. And I guess whoever bought it down here, again, you watch my live streams. We gave this box for free to anybody watching me. I think you would have made what? This was $5. It's $20. So that's almost 400%. And people get all pissed off about the indices. Oh, you know, technology went up, you didn't know. But here I gave a 400% trade. Like, see, guys, you got to understand. That's why I always buy the boxes. If the indices don't give a box, we don't buy it. And the indices just haven't pulled back to give us an opportunity. But there's been a lot of other stocks out there that have, and this is just another example. So this is another big winner that we've had. All right, RXRX. Yeah, that's one that the chart broke down. But let's take a look at what we had here. The last update we called B in here, and we're coming out of B. So yeah, so we're looking for more upside here in this C leg. I don't think it will go much higher than this area, roughly speaking, as long as we stay above 384. So I think you just kind of, again, same idea, just kind of ride the waves, and if you're able to establish a position down here where I had it, you just stay long. Now this could be 5 like that. So this one, I think this one we got to be careful. I think if we look at this wave in here, I could put the 1 there, and that looks like 5 down. That means we would come back down here. If I put that here, it's a flat and it's finished. So it's probably better to just leave this not, kind of we know we're in 1. I think I want to put that there. Yeah. So I'm going to put the 1 there, and then we're going to call this 2. So I'd be looking for something like this. A retest of this area, but this consolidation is taking way too long. So let's go to the 15-minute and see. 45. Yeah, I guess you have to call that a flat. We have to call that a flat. I wonder if the subdivision support. I guess you could support 5 waves, the subdivision. So you have to call it, so we have to label it this way. There's no other label that works. No other subdivision that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. There. And now you're correcting this. So now and again, could be done here. Again, could even be a flat. I mean, we could try to play around with the count again, but I think we just kind of leave it alone. Maybe it does a double and comes down here to erase this little dip divergence here. Just, you know, so I think I would be looking for something like this, something like that, and then this kind of comes back and dips back down to 461 or something, and perhaps gives you a setup for the push out of this pattern. If you break below this B, it's negated, and then it goes into a much more bearish outcome, right? Because we're looking for like a whipsaw connector, right? We're not looking for a go to zero, not yet. GDXU is all about the GDX, as you know, and the way to trade the GDXU is to buy it when the GDX hits certain levels and not really analyze the GDXU. But let's take a look. So this is the GDX that I have right now, conservative count. It could erase divergence, so the GDXU would show a little more upside and then a big drop before the real easy money comes out in the next 2 to 3 years. But I think this is like the most realistic like count for now. I'll just kind of clean it up. So something like this is what I'm thinking, but look at all these 1, 2s. This is what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? So this is why I'm saying you got to be patient while stocks accumulate. Again, instant gratification wasn't there for the GDX or any goal. Like we have to wait. And again, on my channel, I was telling people to buy this, and this, I think it was December and January 23. That was the trade and buy opportunity. Like it was this area, because we saw the 1, 2s, 1, 2, right? Now the fruits of that are playing out, but we are breaking out. It can accelerate. It can easily. It does. I think we need another sentiment reset here, but maybe it doesn't happen. So the GDXU, you know, would have a similar thing. Now, I was looking at this the other day. We have broken this 3, and you see how we broke here. I was thinking, what if the 5 was done? What if it's already done and we're already in 2 and we don't realize it? It's possible. It's not the end of the world, but we would expect a much bigger sell-off, and that means gold's top. That means the dollar index is likely to go higher, and I don't think any of those things are there yet. So that's why I think this is the right count. Okay, but technically speaking, and I guess you could put the 5 in, but I don't think so. I think this is the right way to look at it. Okay, and then we continue higher. All right, and then we can look at the GDXU real quick. I think I've charted it before for somebody, or saw we were looking at it. So yeah, I think we had this count. So now the GDXU was interesting because it shows something a little bit different. We had a big accumulation area. We just started to break out. We came out in a 1 and a 1, 2, 1, 2. The problem is what happens here, and then the GDX. So if, let's say we make a 5, maybe this can make it back up to here, 84. Maybe makes it up to here, but then it has another big drop. So what if in the GDXU we're not in this, we're in 2, right? What if we're in something like this, and then this is the count for the GDXU, right? That's possible, right? Something like that. So I think that's why I don't like to chart this. I'd rather chart this And then when we get a 3-wave dip, we can buy the GDXU, right, on 3 waves, right? Something like that. Or in the rare case, we did have a box. I'm not sure, you know, I had this box. I probably looked at the downtrend and projected the box. It looks like we did break out of the inverse head and shoulders, right? Likely, it looks like it tried to backtest and it held here. So I wonder if it's going to extend. I wonder if we will top. I wonder if this is just going to erase divergence and go it's go time for the miners. It may be, and maybe the GDXU is telling us that. Maybe people, it's too underinvested. No one's in it, even though it seems like everybody knows about it. But maybe, and then this is the count. And if that's the count, it's go time. It's go time. It will probably rise as rapidly as it fell. So I don't know. I think that's why I'm heavy long in the miners and been preaching and pounding it to all my elite members, and we covered all the stocks. In fact, we picked out the one that's probably doing the best of all of them, MUX. I mean, our elite members, I got a special update on those, and we looked at all of them, and MUX was the one that stood out. And I believe we were the one, again, because of all the 1-2, 1-2 setups, and we got the exact low, literally to like the penny, and then it just gone up, and then last week it's just gone crazy, and it's been erasing divergence. So maybe this is telling us they're catching on. The miners are catching on. So I don't know. So again, this 5 here may be too bearish, but I think it's good, always good to be conservative. And then if it goes higher, great. That's a nice. I'm not expecting it to be, you know, and then get surprised with a rug pull. So I think this is what I'm thinking in the back of my mind. But I could talk myself into it's just going to erase divergence and go. All right. Nokia, let's take a look at that one. In Euro and Helsinki. Let me see here. Wow, it's a lot of ways to trade this stock. Big picture, okay. Nokia in Euro in Helsinki. I'm not sure if that's the NYSE. Let me look it up on some. Let me take a look. I'm gonna look somewhere else real quick. See if I can find this symbol for you. Nokia. On the let's see if I can find it here. Nokia. Yeah, maybe you're gonna have to help me find which one it is, because I'm just not familiar with the symbol. Maybe I'm not sure if maybe you can put it in the comments, and I'll come back to your question. All right. Deutsche Bank on Xterra, big picture. Yeah, I can do that one. Deutsche. All right. We have it on the NYSE. Yeah, I'm just not. I don't know if I'm seeing the exchanges you're looking for. I don't have the symbol right. So I can do the NYSE. You can put in the comments if you want the NYSE. I have those. I don't think I have those exchanges. They're not showing up on TradingView. I'll come back again. Unfortunately, maybe TradingView doesn't have all these international symbols. Vesta Wind Systems on the Dana. Yeah, again, like I'll try to find these. If I can't, I don't know how to figure it out. Vesta, wind, systems. Wind. Yeah, systems, Danish crowns and copper. Yeah, unfortunately I can't figure it out. What you could do to help me is to just type in exactly here the symbol in your chats, and I can find and give you the right analysis. So I'll have to come back to your questions. All right, Alwyn as SMH top in. The problem is SMH is like Nvidia and everything else. It is finishing this 5 up off the low. Like Nvidia, there's a 2 here. Okay, there should be a pullback. Remember I said Nvidia could have that 4 and 5, extended 5. That's what we're showing here. Now I hadn't looked at the divergences lately, so we may need to change it. Let's take a look. 4 hour. Okay, still looking like a 5. Daily, erase and divergence. So it's like Nvidia. So the higher time frame rules. So we've erased divergence. So I would definitely not want to short it here. Okay, it's erase and divergence. But what we're going to do is change the label into a 3-wave move for now, and then let the market decide. And you're like, where's the connector, right? Where's the connector? The connector is right there. So what we need to do is look at it from 3 waves up, and that looks like a WXY pattern. Because you have 1, 2, 3 connector, 1, 2, 3. So W, X, and then you're in Y, and then there's your A, B, C right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have your A, B, C. So you see how when you change the structure around, it kind of changes the view. But let's look at this. Because it's really important that we get the B right. Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, right here, and now we're in C, and that should be wrapping up pretty soon. Okay. So should you short it or not? Well, if you believe it's a corrective bounce, this would be the best opportunity to short it you'll ever get, like right now. And this is, again, we could still be in 2. Did we break the high? So it'd be a flat. So just like Nvidia, it could turn into a flat. Okay, this could turn into a flat, right? It could easily do that. Not easily, but there is a possibility. It's not 0, that it's this, right? And the final targets are hit. And then by an SOX here, you'll look like you're the smartest person in the world. If this is the pattern. If it's not the pattern, you'll lose you'll be blown up. You'll blow up your account, because then the 2 is in. And like Nvidia, you'll make either a 4 and a 5 and a pullback and then go time, or it's already in the 3. We're already started in the 3. Okay, so what I'd rather do here, instead of trying to pick the top, right, is the first 3-wave pullback. I'd like to buy it for an extension, and then if it stops out, then we can flip short against the peak, because it's either going to extend in this 3, which you want to join that trend, or it's not. And if it doesn't do that here, then it's likely to turn into the flat, and that's a better way than just guessing the top. But I mean, if you look at the count's pretty much done. Now the shorter time frames haven't erased divergence, so the higher time frame may have, but the shorter time frame hasn't. So perhaps it has just a little more upside in this wave. And it looks, if I do this count, it looks like it's missing 1, 2, 3, 4. So it needs a 3, a 4, and a 5. So it's still missing upside. So more than likely it's got more upside. So so that's probably not the peak. It's probably going to go even higher. But that's where we are with the semis for now. As you can see, you really, the only pullback you got was here and here, and of course down in this area. But really, the market hasn't given any opportunity to buy it. But I wouldn't short it, because you could be shorted into a wave 3, and that's the reason why it's not a good call to short it right now. All right. So what if you're playing for the flat? You would short it. Maybe not like at this moment. Maybe after you let this rise a little bit more. And then you play for the flat. If you get the flat, you're gonna make a lot of. I mean, your SOXS is gonna be huge buy, right? If you can get the flat, but it's very dangerous. But you could get it. You could get it for sure. You could get it. If you look at the big picture, right? This was correct in the whole thing. Here's our 4. We definitely didn't go deep enough, right? Usually you come all the way back to the 4, right? There's the 4. That's the box was 80. So this is very bold. Like, this is a major truncation. So maybe it will do the flat and shock the world. Shock the world. Maybe it will. And then Nvidia goes down to 70 or lower, and everybody does the flat, and everyone's blown up here, and then you get then it's all done, right? So I'll tell you what, I'll be bringing my popcorn, because if we get the flat, it's going to be something really freaking entertaining to watch on TV. There's going to be something like crazy. Someone crazy is going to have to blow up. Something crazy. Hopefully nothing bad in the world happens, but maybe somebody does something stupid, blows up their company or bank or something. Something really bad will have to happen to have this situation. And again, I hope it's not like terrorism, war related, something else. But I mean, but for now, we'll just leave it this way. All right. Meta's a good one. One we've tracked for our pro members. Here, and we did get a better dip buy entry here. This is probably the only tech that really gave a real clear, nice, beautiful 3 waves, and of course it played out vertical. Now we're pulling back, and looks like 5 down. Looks like we're in this 2. So a couple things, we could be correct in this whole impulse. Again, looking for more upside in 5, and let's look at the higher time frames. So you see, we do have some bearish divergence there, indicating a 5, and then on the shorter time frame as well. So it's very likely it's a 5, and it's gonna at least double correct, more than likely. So that brings you back to 692, 684. So what could happen here is it could find support here in that area, make a 2, correct that whole cycle, go time. Or it could be tricky, extend 5, 1, 2, and then get a bigger drop later. But we need to stay dynamic and watch it. And again, our pro group will watch it daily. But for now, I think you're gonna get a pullback like down to here. I think, looking at this structure. But I do think it's got more upside. We did break the high, and we did break it on 5. I mean, so I guess theoretically this 5 could be finished, right? Which would be a much bigger collapse, which would mean we would stop out, like we would drop, like you would have a huge candle. So like then if we got something like that, let's say we just wake up one day and it's trading at like 620, 600, well then that 5 may be in, and then that's it, and then it's gonna correct the grand super cycle again. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I think it's too short. I think it needs more extension. But what do I know? But we just, like I said, our strategy is to buy it in 3 and let the market decide. And the market decided vertical action, and now traders that bought it took profit. We have our stop here, and we don't really care what it does. If it comes and stops us out, fine. We'll figure it out later. If it doesn't, we could try to play this box and bounce. Or if it does something really tricky up here and just truncates it or ends it here, we'll still benefit. So again, we don't really need to worry about what's the count and all that. We just saw the 3-wave, we bought the trend, and went from there. Because if we would have stopped out here, then the flat would have been in play. But now the flat, I think, is negated, at least for now. AMC had a 3-wave bounce and it broke a connector. I know it made a lot of people angry, but again, I don't make the market, guys. We called the end of the cycle. We got a reaction, but unfortunately the sellers returned. The market makers dropped the price again, and that's, you know, obviously I can't control the market, but we usually can control the reaction. I just can't control how high it goes and what happens after that. But that this is what we're looking for right now. Something like this is the most likely path. Now I can't rule out the possibility that we're still in X and it does that whipsaw price action like that. But with the lower low, it's going to need a 3-wave sequence down and line out. So I think it's best to just wait and let this develop more. But I'm just kind of showing you the likely path. And of course, it needs to stay above 246. If it breaks 246, it can be in a lot of trouble. So so that's what I'll be looking for, something like this. Okay. MPW, Medical Property Trust. I think we have that too, like probably almost done. Let's look here. We are starting to see like the strength in the IYRs and those weird industries, REITs and stuff, which seem strange to me, but it's still not quite in our box. Like a box would be at like 411. We're just short, but it does look like the cycle's ended. Let's go to the higher time frame. Yeah, cycle's over. Maybe let's look at that a little bit closer. It's over. So the two's done. To me, the two's done here. Cycle's over. So you're not going to get the perfect entry. So I think you just have to stick your neck out and buy it here. But I would say the real important is this 340. So if you are buying it, you need to buy it against 340, and then you're playing for the reaction out of this 1 2 1 2 1 2 setup. All right. If it and again, it's you have 5 up with a higher high, so you do have the edge is a little bit on your side on the bull, the lean bullish for at least another swing higher. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll go back to the Nokia questions. Yeah, if I can do the NYSE, I think we're gonna be good with your symbols, and then I'll try to answer quickly any other comments that people had, and then we'll call it a day. All right. Let's see if I can find your symbols. There we are. All right, Nokia. Let's go back. All right, Nokia. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. Okay. All right, here we are. There it is. Okay. Let's take a look at what we have. So we had this flag. We're still in this flag. Just extending a correction. Well, let's maybe we got it wrong here. Let's take a look here. We have it in a 3-wave move, a B, and we're trying to figure out where we're going. Why do we have it doing this? Let's see here. Man, this thing has just been dead. I mean, I don't even know what it makes anymore. I'm sure it's got, it makes something. Yeah, I think we have to go to even a higher time frame. I mean, it's been in a correction since 2000. I mean, so yeah, I think what we'll do is we're gonna use the higher. I think we didn't do this last time. We're gonna use the higher time frame RSI. because really that cycle's over. This cycle's over, and we're in this new cycle, whatever this mess is, and then we could try to analyze it from this point on here. I guess you got a little bit of divergence there on that peak. It came down, erased divergence, and then you have, see, then you have this wick, whether it's real or not. See, that's what I wonder. Like January 4th, I wonder if some news hit or something, because that wick throws off our analysis. We can choose to ignore it, and if we do, then the analysis looks like a 1-2, like it just. The problem is this wick, right? This wick, and again, I don't know if it's like real price, but sometimes you get to see these erroneous data. If it's real, if something really happened, let me see. Let me see if it's real price action. Let me see when this thing happened here. January, the week of the 25th, January 21. Let me see if I can find out if that was a real or not. Let's see here, the week of January. Let's see if there's anything going on. Okay, yeah, Nokia was swept up on the meme stock frenzy. Traders on Reddit pumped it. So it's real price. Okay, so we have to take that into account. Okay, so that is a real wick. There was I guess, a meme stock frenzy, pumped it up, and it failed. So it's in a flat. It's got to be in a flat then, off of this peak here. Just like we had it before, right? We have it in this flat. But we could have a run. We could have run in flats, right? We have run in flats, and maybe yeah, maybe we'll label it this way. Let's see here. Let's go to the monthly time frame. Go to the quarterly here. See, we're breaking out. I wonder if we're still in a corrective structure. Maybe we're in something a little different. Let's do this. A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're still in B. We do something like that. Yeah, it's a tough count, because I think then the only other count that works for me would be this. I'm sorry, would be this. So I guess it's the only other count that works for me. I can't get the RSI to like support this perfectly, but there's no other count that seems to make a lot of sense until we take this peak out in price, 599. If we take out 599, then I think we have to go with the more bullish setup count. But for now, I think we'll go with this count. Something like that. It's the only thing I can think of. But once we break that low, then we have to just put a one here and a 2 here. We'd have to just, and then this subdivides into 5 waves, and we just don't see it. We just don't see it because it will just happen so fast, and we have to go with this count. So I think I'm gonna lean the other way, but I think you can watch that price level on Nokia to see where it goes. All right, Deutsche Bank here. Let's take a look here. Boy, we caught that low way back when here. Or I did, I don't remember. I don't think my channel was around back then. I must have been my own chart for my own self. But I don't think even I had the courage to buy it back then. That was when they thought it was like going to go bankrupt. Not anymore, I guess. Look at that. All right, so we've just been charting the waves, right? We're charting the waves, right? And probably racing divergence along the way. Yeah, there's no divergence. There's a little bit on that wave. So clearly that's not a 4. Whoops, let's go back. So clearly that's another 1, 2 here. That's kind of come out of the ashes. I remember a time when, I mean, this thing was like the worst possible bank you could possibly own. I guess not anymore. I guess the shows to show you anybody could have a comeback. So I would expect just more upside. There's probably, as you can see, way more 4s than 5s. So yeah, just I guess enjoy the ride. I mean, looking at this chart, something like this. Yeah, it's still in this 5. So again, it could just keep extending, but you would think it's got you know, these 4s and 5s have to play out, and then probably a dramatic pullback once this happens. Once this finishes, once this cycle finishes, you'll probably have another big pullback and then out later. So all right, let's go to the next one. Vestas Wind Systems. I think we'll use that one. So this looks like only it's moving in 3s. Or could that be a 4? But it's too deep. 4, 4. Yeah, I think I'll label it. Sometimes it's better to just label it in 3 waves, versus trying to force impulse. And then this is your connector right here. Something like that. Now, so the ideal level wasn't hit, which is 561. You're still in the downtrend, so it's still in play. It's still in the downtrend. So I would be careful. You could still go lower into this area, into this box here. Or you can wait for the correction to end when that trend line breaks I drew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like some kind of triple and then down. So you had some kind of W, X, Y. And then this looks like you're in maybe a B wave bounce. So you need like one more swing down. Like that's probably what I would be looking for, something like that. Okay. And then Alstom, ALSTOM. All right, so this one looking like got 5 off that low here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it looks like it's another 3. But you erase divergence. So this one's a little different, but it's kind of the same the same idea. Something like this, and then you're off your first push higher. Your first wave. So do something like, it should do something like this. So and that looks like to me like a 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. So some kind of flat there. But sometimes these smaller kind of stocks, if it's a flat, could still come back down, but it looks like no, you're still in the corrective cycle. So I think you got to be careful that you don't make one more low. There is a possibility that you can make one more low, and this is not finished. Just keep that in mind. It could do something like that, and then make one more low. All right. It could even be some kind of triangle in 4 here, can contract, and then make one more low. So tough to say exactly, but I think it's smart. It's gonna have should have continuation higher. In fact, this could be your 3. So if we put the 1 there, then the 2 would be done. So and I looking at it a second time, looking at the RSI here, like I look at this almost looking like something like that maybe. And then this here is like a 1 2 3 4 extended 5th. You lose the whole 5, hit the 4. This is probably the count we'll go with. So I'm thinking it's this is how I would label it, something like this, and then you would be coming out. So key level, the holds would be right at 1596. So I think it's something like that. So this one's a little different than the other one, but it's kind of the same idea. All right. So I think I covered everything. Let's go through your kind of comments. No Kia's used. Yeah, thanks again. October crash. Looking at the market right now, I think the market's ready for a pullback this summer, but the markets never crash in the summer, guys. They always crash in October, like you said. So if the market's going to crash, October would be the month where like the meat of the downtrend happens. Typically, that's historically what we see. If I'm looking at it from a timing standpoint, maybe if the market were to just keep extending into September, and then September we pull back, and then October you're set up for that big drop. That could be possible. If you get the 4 in the summer and you make a 5 going into September, then it could be set up for a big pullback, but that could still be supported potentially with 4 here, because you would have an impulse. The possibility is you make that 4 into 5 into September, and 5 is done. But it's not likely given the look of the overall market at this point, but we can wait and cross that bridge when we get there. So I don't know, but I think, historically the markets have their crashes in October's. That general time frame. That's that, and again, we have seen bad sell-offs before, right? March 2020, right? Pretty bad, right? The one we just went through. Also, right? But I think that was most of the selling was done in March too. So March has been a bad month. But October has been where the historic stuff happens, right? That's October. So if you're looking for a great catastrophe, that's typically you want to own puts in early October, right? In October for the most part, right? If you believe the market, but that's usually the historic, like risk, I guess. my favorite uranium play right now. Just kind of thinking in my mind. You know, I have to take a look at what I don't. I think the best one I like is the one that gives like the most upside, like the most beta, and it's the highest risk, of course, too, and it's like the UUUU one, and that's what I would probably try to play if that sector is going to break out. But then again, that's just a lot of risk in that one. But there's so many other charts I have to look at it. Again, haven't paid much attention recently because we're waiting for a bigger pullback to really do some shopping, and we just, again, like the rest of the market, haven't got a big pullback in that sector. But if you follow me, we were calling URA on our channel for the last 12 months on why that was such a good buy, and that proved to be the case from an investment standpoint. Okay, and that's a pretty safe ETF. Maybe one more low in oil. Yeah, I think you can't rule out that one more low yet. Maybe people don't want it because you're too good. Yeah, I don't know. I think Anonymous, you bring up a point about being good or bad or whatever. And again, I'm a humble person, but the way I look at it is, if most, again, and this wasn't my words of wisdom. Someone posted it, but I'm stealing this because it's so true. If most people are to get most people that trade in the market don't get rich, they lose their money, right? That's what statistics say, right? Most people lose their money, trade in the market. And you can go back and look, and they blow up and they don't succeed. So therefore, if most people fail, then the people that and the people that are the influencers that have the most people following them typically it won't work out then, because if you have, let's say, like Kramer has millions of followers out there, you would think they would all be rich if they would, right? If most people fail. So therefore, the people that have the biggest influence, like the most followers and subscribers, typically are usually mostly wrong. But it's not that they're wrong, it's because their group, they have so much influence, they all get on one side of the boat and they tip the boat over. And that's why the anti-Kramer, stocks work, right? There's these anti-Kramer trades and and everything. So it's like, so the people with the lower followers probably tend to do better for whatever reason, or the more obscure like symbols we track. Only because, like, by definition, if you had a lot of people, like the guys out there that have hundreds of thousands of people follow, then by default everyone would be rich if they were always right, because so many people follow them. So or people choose to follow the wrong people, right? Then most people that trade don't follow the right people, or they listen to the wrong people. So it is very interesting. You can think about that for a while, but it is interesting. And the other thing that's interesting is when I have days where we get everything right, I'll lose a lot of subscribers. And the days that I get a lot of things wrong, I gain or don't lose anybody, and actually gained. And it's a paradox that is counterintuitive. And I think people out there on the internet pride themselves on, I'm so accurate and perfect, but I think it has nothing to do with your follow. I think it's follower count is about how you present the material, your public like image out there. Like I'm a private person. I'm sure if I put my real name and picture and my real I'll probably have like 100,000 people follow me, but once they figure out who I am, but I don't do that, so I suffer that way. But I think those are the things that really grow your followers. Nothing about accuracy, and it really is puzzling when days we really do so well, I'll lose people, and I'm like, it's interesting. I guess people either don't take the trades and they feel left out, or they are mad. They're actually watching because they want me to fail for something. They want for entertainment purpose, and they could be, or they just don't believe in it. It's such a weird thing, but it is interesting. So I always say, people, if you have a membership service out there that follow me, and I do think other people with big services are following and listen to this channel, because ironically I'll post ideas on there, and then I see those ideas show up other places, which is fine. You pay a member, I don't care what you use with my stuff, but I'm just saying, if you follow me, you gotta understand this. Accuracy has nothing to do with growing your business. Nothing to do. It is completely uncorrelated based on what I've seen. And like I said, I had the biggest subscriber growth in my channel so far during this period of time where you could say I was completely wrong potentially, but I wasn't. I don't think I just said don't trade it. I never said to short this. But in fact, this was my biggest growth of subscribers happened during this period of time where most people would think that I should have lost the most, but I actually gained the most. And in fact, during this period of time where we've made the most profit, the channel's performed poorly in terms of subscriber growth, but we've made the most money. I mean, way more than anyone made trading the indices here in our channel. Yes, we had a few stop outs, but most of those losses were minimal or no loss if you traded it with taking some profit. Very few just boxes were blown through without any reaction. Most boxes get a reaction. So anyway, that's my speech on my channel, guys. So Megaphone, what about that Megaphone? Yeah, that's another trading technique that someone's out there that has, and I believe it seems to be a confluence of trading techniques coming together here, right? I'm sure when this 5 ends is probably right at the Megaphone or a thrust out of the Megaphone and back in. I mean, is that a coincidence? Is it not like, I don't know, but it is kind of scary. Megaphone and even Bitcoin, right? I mean, what if Bitcoin thrust out of that little Megaphone? I think if I drew the line, let me draw the line, see, right? Maybe I can draw this line, right? I don't know. So that gets you, right? That's right there, right? There's the broadening top, the Megaphone, big ass Megaphone. So what happens here fits within the Megaphone top idea. And we saw that in the 2020 before the COVID. Before COVID was even a thing, it was in a Megaphone pattern that was finishing up. And coincidentally, at the top of the Megaphone, COVID emerged. How is that possible? Like, did they know or something, right? Did they know? Did they know? Like, let's go back to the SPY during COVID. I think it was, yeah, see the Megaphone, look. I think it was like this, right? Right? We had the Megaphone and look, the thrust over, right? And that's what we may get that. So here's another Megaphone, guys, another Megaphone. And again, depending on how you draw it, but like, look, you see how I thrust it over? You need to be careful. So if you guys are playing the Megaphone, sometimes you can get that thrust over. So we may see that. So just be careful if you're trying to play that. All right. Alrighty, guys. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of bad info out there. There always is, which is why I always started my channel. I saw so much bad information, and I just got sick of good people following bad advice, and that's bad. It's bad, and it motivated me enough to do what I'm doing. GME's in an area that's consolidating. We're hoping to see a move higher. I think it's married to Bitcoin now. I bet my guess is if Bitcoin can kind of get out of this thing, GME will get out of its box. If Bitcoin is going to double correct, and again, I can't rule out a double correction, right? A double correction because I'm not a market maker, right? I got the reaction, right? We had the box on our channel. We got the reaction. We had the box. You got the reaction. You should take profit. Stop. Take profit. Stop. If we get the double correction, we still come out a winner and we just buy it again later. But you can't rule it out. It's just not the most probable setup. But it's not it can happen, but it's not the most probable setup. I'll just say right now in crypto. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I've been on too long. I gotta do some things today. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll be posting updates tomorrow again for the members, and we'll have another week ahead of us. And again, everyone's hoping or expects, not hoping, but expects a big pullback. And if you look at this chart, yeah, you should, but I still think there's more upside, believe it or not. And if a little bit more, and then maybe you get a pullback, maybe you get a 4. Or maybe it's just a racist divergence and we go Moonboy. And there was always that scenario for Moonboy, but I think Moonboy means massive inflation that hasn't come out in the macroeconomic numbers yet, which will later, but we see it instantly here. But I bet that's what that is, and that would be melt up, and all these commodities will all be green, super green, and then everybody's happy, 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 and then when the CPI reading comes in the next 60 days from now, they'll be like misery and crying and gnashing at the teeth, and that's what will happen.